Something happens and we're expected to fire back. Someone says something offensive and we lash out. We get triggered and we respond without thinking. That's emotional reactivity, and it's a trap. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of drama, stress, and regret. But when you train yourself to pause before reacting, everything changes. That pause is not weakness. That pause is wisdom. It's maturity. It's strength. Here's what most people don't realize. Every time you react without thinking, you're giving away your power. You're letting your emotions drive the car. And let's be honest, emotions, when left unchecked, are terrible drivers. They'll run you off the road. They'll take you places you never meant to go. You'll say things you didn't mean, make choices you regret, and sabotage relationships, opportunities, and your own growth. Emotional reactivity feels satisfying in the moment, but it almost always leaves you with a mess to clean up. Now, emotional intelligence is something different. It's not about ignoring your feelings. It's about understanding them. It's about being able to name what you feel, sit with it, and respond with intention instead of impulse. And the way you build emotional intelligence is by learning to pause. That pause is the space between the trigger and your response. It's a few seconds of awareness that give you time to ask, what's really happening here? What do I actually want to say? What would the best version of me do right now? When you build that space into your reactions, you stop being a slave to your emotions. You start becoming the leader of your life. You're no longer just reacting to the world, you're choosing how to respond to it. That's a massive shift. It's how you build calm in chaos. It's how you stay grounded when everything around you is unstable. It's how you stop letting other people's energy dictate your day. This isn't about suppressing your emotions. Let's be clear. You're allowed to feel angry. You're allowed to feel hurt, frustrated, disappointed. Those feelings are valid. But you don't have to let them explode all over your life. You don't have to turn every emotion into an outburst. You don't have to let one moment of irritation ruin your whole day or damage your relationships. You can feel it and still choose not to act on it. And that's what mastery looks like. The pause is where growth happens. It's where self-control is built. Every time you choose to pause instead of react, you're reinforcing a new habit. You're telling your brain, we don't just react anymore. We respond over time. This becomes your new default. You stop being the person who gets triggered by every little thing. You stop being the person who over-explains, over-defends, and overreacts. You become the calm in the storm. And let me tell you, in a reactive world, that kind of calm is magnetic. People respect those who can stay composed under pressure. Not because they're faking calm, but because they've trained it. That training starts with awareness. You have to become aware of your emotional patterns. Notice when you feel triggered. Pay attention to the moments when you want to react fast. That awareness is step one. Step two is the pause. You feel the emotion rising and you give yourself space. You breathe. You ground yourself. You remind yourself that not every feeling needs to be acted on. Some feelings just need to be felt and released. This doesn't mean you never speak up. It doesn't mean you become passive. It means you speak with clarity instead of chaos. It means you choose your words from a place of strength, not pain. That makes you more effective, not less. That makes you a leader, not a doormat. People will start noticing the shift. You won't be the one who reacts. You'll be the one who thinks, the one who leads, the one who doesn't get pulled into every emotional tug of war. And that is power. Training the pause is a daily practice. It's a muscle you build, but the more you do it, the more you'll realize. You don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't need to respond to every provocation. You can feel the trigger, honor the feeling, and still rise above it. That's the beauty of emotional intelligence. It's not loud. It's not flashy, but it changes everything. Detaching from external validation is one of the most liberating things you'll ever do for yourself. We're conditioned from a young age to look outside ourselves for approval. In school, we chase grades. At home, we chase praise. On social media, we chase likes and followers. We grow up believing that our worth is tied to what other people think of us, and that belief becomes a prison. It makes you anxious. It makes you doubt yourself. It makes you play small because you're afraid of being judged. But here's the truth. The moment you stop needing everyone's approval is the moment you start becoming who you actually are. There is nothing wrong with wanting to be liked. That's human. We're wired for connection, but there's a difference between being kind and being controlled. When your identity, your choices, and your peace are all tied to how others perceive you, you're not living, you're performing. You start filtering your actions through the lens of will they approve or will they judge me? And in doing so, you betray your own voice. You silence your instincts. Shooties, you start living someone else's life. That's not freedom, that's bondage. The harsh reality is that no matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion. You could be the kindest, most careful, most intentional person on the planet, and still someone won't like you. That's not your problem. That's their lens. People view the world through their own insecurities, biases, and wounds. If someone judges you, it says more about them than it does about you. And once you understand that, you stop bending to please people who were never going to support you anyway. Detaching from external validation doesn't mean you don't listen to feedback. It doesn't mean you isolate yourself or ignore wisdom. It means you stop letting opinions define you. You stop waiting for permission to show up fully. You stop needing applause to feel worthy. Because worth doesn't come from validation. It comes from alignment. Alignment with who you are, what you believe in, and how you choose to live your life. That kind of inner alignment is unshakable. When you're constantly seeking approval, you become emotionally fragile. Every comment, every rejection, every moment of disapproval hits you hard. Why? Because your identity is tethered to something unstable. But when you build your confidence from within, when you know who you are without needing someone to echo it back to you, you become emotionally resilient. You can take feedback without falling apart. You can face criticism without spiraling. You can hear a no without making it mean that you're not enough. This kind of strength is built through intentional practice. It starts with catching yourself in the act. Notice the moments when you hesitate to speak up because you're afraid of being judged. Notice when you downplay your success because you don't want to seem too much. Notice when you shrink to fit into a version of yourself that feels more acceptable. Those are signs that external validation is running the show. And those are the exact moments where you can start to reclaim your power. Start asking yourself new questions. Instead of will they like this, ask, is this true to me? Instead of will this make them approve of me? Ask, is this aligned with my values? That shift in focus rewires your mindset. It moves you from people pleasing to purpose living. And it's uncomfortable at first. You might disappoint people. You might lose approval. But what you gain is worth so much more: clarity, confidence, peace. When you let go of the need to be liked, you make room to be respected. When you stop chasing popularity, you make room to stand in your truth. And when you stop obsessing over who might not approve, you finally start building a life that you approve of. That's where fulfillment begins. People might talk, let them. People might misunderstand you. That's okay. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to live a life that feels honest, that feels aligned, that feels like yours. And the only way to do that is to stop outsourcing your sense of worth and start trusting yourself. The most powerful thing you can do is validate yourself. To say I'm proud of who I'm becoming, even if no one claps. Because at the end of the day, your peace isn't in their hands. It's in yours. One of the most transformative lessons you can learn is this: control what you can and release what you can't. It sounds simple, but living it takes work. Most of us spend an overwhelming amount of time and energy trying to control the uncontrollable. We try to control other people's opinions, their actions, the outcomes of situations, and the future itself. And when things don't go our way, when people disappoint us, plans fall apart, or unexpected challenges come up, we feel frustrated, anxious, even defeated. But here's the truth. There is real power in letting go of what you were never meant to control in the first place. The only things fully within your control are your thoughts, your actions, your attitude, and your response to what life throws at you. That's it. Everything else, the behavior of others, the weather, the timing of opportunities, the opinions of strangers, is outside your control. And the more you try to micromanage those things, the more stress, burnout, and disappointment you invite into your life. It's exhausting. It's a cycle that never ends, because the truth is, control is often just an illusion. You think you have it, but the moment reality shifts, it slips right through your fingers. So what do you do instead? You take your energy back. You take all that effort and focus that's been going outward, and you bring it inward. You stop wasting your strength trying to fix things that aren't yours to fix, and you start investing in what you can actually change. Your mindset, your habits, your daily choices, your reactions. That's where your real power lives. That's where growth happens. And that shift in focus is what separates people who stay stuck from people who rise. Let's be honest. Things won't always go the way you planned. Life will throw curveballs. People will disappoint you. Opportunities will slip away. You can either let those things break you, or you can let them redirect you. But you can't control them. You can only control how you meet them. That means learning how to adapt without losing your center. It means being flexible without losing your purpose. It means staying grounded even when everything around you feels unstable. Think about how much peace you lose worrying about things you have no control over. You replay conversations in your head, trying to figure out how you could have made someone react differently. You stress about future outcomes that haven't even happened. You try to manage other people's perceptions of you. All of that is wasted energy. It doesn't move you forward. It keeps you spinning. And worst of all, it distracts you from what actually matters. Your progress, your focus, your growth. The mindset shift is this. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do with this? That question changes everything. It takes you out of victim mode and puts you in the driver's seat. You might not be able to control what just happened, but you can control how you choose to interpret it, how you respond, and what you do next. That is where resilience is built. That is how you create momentum. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means you're smart enough to stop fighting battles that drain you and wise enough to redirect that energy towards something productive. It means you stop needing everything to go perfectly in order to feel at peace. You start trusting that you can handle whatever comes your way. Not because life is easy, but because you've learned how to stay steady in the storm. You don't need to predict the future to prepare for it. You just need to strengthen the one thing you can count on, yourself. Strengthen your focus. Strengthen your mindset. Strengthen your ability to stay calm when things don't go according to plan. That is what will carry you forward. Not more control, but more confidence in your ability to adjust, pivot, and keep moving. When you finally release the illusion of control and anchor into what's actually in your hands, you start to feel lighter. Not because life gets easier, but because your relationship with it changes. You stop being thrown by every unexpected turn. You stop gripping so tightly. And in that release, you discover something even greater than control. You discover clarity, peace, and power. Not the power to control everything, but the power to lead yourself through anything. Protecting your peace is not a luxury, it's a necessity. In a world that's constantly pulling at your attention, challenging your energy and demanding your reaction, your inner peace is your power. If you don't guard it, life will chip away at it piece by piece. Every unnecessary argument, every toxic environment, every distraction you say yes to when you really mean no. All of it slowly erodes your sense of calm, your clarity, your ability to stay focused on what actually matters. And here's the truth. Not everything deserves access to you. Not everyone gets a front row seat in your life. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries without guilt. For a lot of people, boundaries feel uncomfortable. We're taught to be agreeable, to avoid conflict, to say yes, so we don't disappoint anyone. But when you live like that, you end up disappointing the most important person in the room. You start betraying your own needs, your own time, your own values, just to keep the peace with everyone else. But real peace doesn't come from pleasing others. Real peace comes from honoring yourself. Protecting your peace starts with knowing what disrupts it. Take inventory. Who or what drains you? What environments cause your energy to plummet? What habits keep you in a cycle of stress or anxiety? What conversations leave you feeling heavy instead of uplifted? Be honest. This isn't about blaming. It's about awareness. You can't protect what you don't first recognize. Once you get clear on what disrupts your peace, you can start being intentional about protecting it. That means learning to say no, clearly, calmly, and without over-explaining. No, I can't take on that extra responsibility right now. No, I'm not available for that conversation. No, I don't have the energy for this today. That word no is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone a justification for taking care of yourself. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to your peace. You're saying yes to your mental health. You're saying yes to your growth. It also means limiting your exposure to negativity. You are not obligated to participate in every dramatic situation you're invited to. You don't have to respond to every criticism or defend yourself against every misunderstanding. Let people think what they want. Let them talk. Your peace is more valuable than your reputation in someone else's mind. You don't need to attend every argument, solve every conflict, or carry every emotional burden. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to simply disengage. Your environment matters too. Protecting your peace might mean changing who you spend time with. It might mean removing yourself from toxic dynamics, stepping away from people who constantly complain or gossip, or distancing yourself from anyone who treats your peace as if it's negotiable. That's not harsh, that's healthy. You're allowed to choose environments that support your well-being. You're allowed to create space between you and the things that throw you off balance. And don't forget, protecting your peace isn't just about avoiding negativity. It's also about actively creating stillness. It's about making time for the things that recharge you, whether that's journaling, walking in nature, listening to music, meditating, or just sitting in silence. These are not small things. These are foundational. Because when your inner world is calm, you make better decisions. You handle stress more effectively. You show up with more presence. You're less reactive and more intentional. You don't just survive your day, you lead it. Sometimes people will push back when you start setting boundaries. They're used to the version of you that always says yes, that always shows up no matter what, that always puts others first. And when that changes, they may not like it. But that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to honor your energy, your values, your peace. People who truly respect you will understand. And the ones who don't, that's information. Your peace is not a passive thing. It doesn't just happen. It's something you have to build, protect, and prioritize. And it starts with the decision to stop letting the world dictate your emotional state. You get to choose what you allow into your mind, your heart, your schedule, and your spirit. That's your power. And when you fully embrace that, you stop living in reaction to the world, and you start leading your life with strength, clarity, and peace. Not everything deserves your reaction. That truth right there, it's a game changer. Because if you're constantly reacting